Namaste, Siju. How are you?
Namaste, Sarita. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely well, looking at the weather out there and saying, what a great time.
No, no, absolutely. As long as you don't have to go outside, it's fine.
So, Siju, I was just going through your profile and I remember our meeting also. And it was all, I am always amazed as to how a tech guy you is not a techie.
Good one.
A tech background, right? But you're not into techie work. So, what's the story here?
So this, the genesis of this can be traced back to my time at Adidas, when I was looking after operations for Adidas in two states of Tamil Nadu and AP. It was at that point in time, and I was looking purely at operations and business. So dhande ki baat, right? Monthly sales, inventory, and so on and so forth. And it's at that moment in time when Adidas was putting in place a software system that would take care of billing and the back-end inventory and all that stuff. And it was being managed by a firm out of Chennai. And since I was managing one of the image stores on Nungambakkam High Road, I got deeply involved in it a bit. And then I realized that the kids who came in to configure the system and know more about the processes did not really know much about retail processes. I don't blame them. The fact is, they were so into the technology part of it that I ended up a lot of my time taking them through the whole thing and ensuring that the system is implemented. So I think therein generated, interest in me regarding technology. And as luck would have it, Satyam was setting up its retail vertical business unit. This was way back in 2001. Given what had happened at Adidas and my involvement with the team, I thought, let me give this a shot. And that's when, I became what was then known as a business analyst. And that was, I must say, that was a period in time when companies, both the technology companies as well as companies which were consuming these systems, realized that there is a need for a certain breed of people who understood business and who also had a fair understanding about technology. Now, business understanding could be at a level of 300, 400, but the tech understanding could be at level 100. But that, looking back, I realized that I was part of a very, very, small breed of people at that point in time. And yeah, to 2001, that whole technology, journey started, and I was part of, after Satyam, part of Oracle, then Microsoft, and then IBM, and all through in the area of retail and consumer and technology. So these two aspects have been constant in my life. So not a surprise that 2017, when I decided to become a free radical solopreneur of sorts, I decided to focus on consumer experience as my core competence area. And as luck would have it, digitalization happened over the period that we are talking about, and digital was no longer an alternative. It was a definitive part of every company's corporate strategy. So I must say the jigsaw puzzles kind of fell into place, Sarita, and I'm fairly happy with what I've been able to experience and work with over the past 30 years of my professional career.
Oh, I'm loving this marriage, okay? This marriage of technology with business understanding resulting in a great consumer experience. I don't think a divorce will happen here, Siju.
No, I
Uh,
don't think so. I don't think so.
but tell me, how do you see ethics playing a role in consumer behavior?
See, this goes back to something, and as I was discussing with my daughter yesterday, in terms of because she's studying for design and she's studying and psychology is one of her subjects, and as we got talking and as I have kind of been researching a bit over the past few months, there's such a huge element of intersection between what's happening in the world today, especially in terms of AI and advances in technology and psychology. And the reason being behavior. So behavior is common to both these aspects. And when it comes to
A little bit on this, a bit more. The AI piece and the behavior, the psychology piece. Just explain a little bit more, please.
so the way I look at it is so anything behavior is something that let's say a consumer or anyone for that matter, you and me, we display towards a certain aspect, correct? And what I've realized is that that over a period of time, what I've really understood is that there are three core drivers of behavior. Whether consumer behavior or whether just behavior of a person, and these are capability, motivation, and opportunity. And if you look into it, AI has the ability to influence all these three aspects, all these three dimensions, right? And as I strongly believe, the reason why we need to be a little careful and why we need to really give this a lot of thought is because whatever AI does or AI enables, it will be at scale. Now, that's a scary thought, right? So influencing behavior by helping people develop capabilities for a certain task can be orchestrated with millions and millions of people simultaneously through advancements in technology and especially AI, right? So capability as the first dimension is kind of taken care of. Then again, motivation, right? And the motivation as a driver is communication, correct? And how do you motivate someone? You motivate someone by communicating to him or her on a certain narrative, and then you are able to motivate that person on that path. And here AI is the boss when it comes to enabling communication in a tailored and personalized fashion, and again at scale. And finally, with rich access to our own data, personal data, and I personally believe that none of us are, immune from the fact that our data is all out there. And as well as the previous behavior data and devices, AI can create opportunities, very easily where these behaviors can be tested and actioned out. Right? So it's ticked all the three boxes: capability, motivation, and opportunity. And that is the reason why I strongly believe that behavior, is strongly influenced by advancements in technology like AI.
But the scale part of it also can make things go wrong, right?
Absolutely.
How wrong can that be?
Well, it can go wrong, and good use cases are dime a dozen, but there are bad use cases. Imagine, on an extreme, a group of terrorists using the same technology that kind of predicts the prediction. I mean, that enables prediction of cancers in a matter of seconds, right? Essentially the same baseline technology, but then the usage is quite destructive, right? AI could be used to shape opinion in a certain manner that is inimical to the larger societal interest or interest of a country as a whole. Incorrect narratives can be set, cemented, and exploited, right? So the flip side to exists, and hence the need for monitoring and control. And a lot of this monitoring and control, given where we are at the stage of the life cycle of AI, a lot of it has to be by choice, and it has to be done by us immediately.
So what's the alternative? When I hear you speak, I'm also getting scared at the kind of wrong things that can happen with so much of fast growth in AI, and which can become a threat to humanity in itself. What alternative approaches do you think we can then consider, Siju?
See, in terms of, you can't stifle it, right? Now, the innovation in this area is well on its path. And with the kind of computing power that's available, at our fingertips, it's very easy for any consumer of technology to kind of look at developing something that's large scale. And that's how startups begin, right? I mean, a lot of startups are able to do it today, as well as some of the big boys, is because they have a tremendous amount of computing capability available at their behest. So you really can't stifle anything on that front. What you can put as safeguards is what is important, and that's where considerations that help monitor and control, ethical and otherwise, become very, very important. See, end of the day, it's about keeping control, right, Sarita? Today, AI systems do what we want. Now, we certainly don't want to reach a point where these systems only do what that particular system or that piece of code wants. We need to kind of self, stop ourselves from getting there.
So our own moral compass becomes very important over here. I mean,
Absolutely. Our moral compass is very, very important. We need to know where to draw the line. See, end of the day, there are two large aspects of control that needs to be put into a picture, right? And one is the area of risk. It's very, very important to understand the risk of a particular system, and to make sure that we are all guided by a certain common guideline around what is acceptable and what is not acceptable risk. Right now, and that's very important, and that's easier said than done. But then someone, you'll have to really start it, because for example, facial recognition, correct? Now, as I understand, EU directive on AI, controls, regulatory framework, I think came out about 4 or 5 months back. They do have risk categorization in 4 or 5 areas, right? And that's because they strongly believe that human oversight, along with the ability to be cognizant of these risk areas, are very important. You just can't venture into those, for example, that threaten national security, or which threatens privacy, to the extent that it becomes a breach of fundamental right. So it's very important for us to understand these risk areas and stay away from, and put control on systems being developed in these areas.
So, with someone who comes with your background and passion of consumer behavior and very strong ethics on how it should be steered, what's the vision you have for FIA?
See, I'm glad that a community like FIA took shape, Sarita. I'm really honored to be a part of this multidisciplinary and multi-perspective group. When I look at it, my whole vision, singular vision working with FIA members, is to help establish frameworks to build trustworthy AI. And I find this very appealing because end of the day, when you step back and look at all the pros and cons of the developments happening today, you realize that the only way you can really mitigate the risks is by developing or contributing to building a framework for trustworthy AI. Frameworks that will facilitate and encourage innovation and development in AI, all the while respecting rights and addressing risks. So there are two, like I said, there are two basic elements of how you can manage innovation in a manner that is not inimical to the world as at large, is while respecting rights and addressing risks in the most appropriate and timely manner, right? And thereby persistently maintaining the trust factor amongst the stakeholders, between man and machine and all the stakeholders involved.
No, I really like, I think that's a very strong statement from you that, we need to build a framework for trustworthy AI. Thank you so much for your time, Siju. I've enjoyed hearing your perspective, and I think together we can all make a difference. Thank you.
Absolutely, Sarita. Thank you so much for having me here, and look forward to working with FIA.